Okay. And we're back for a bit. Did not realize how
Mic
long.
check for you, by the way.
Yeah, it's
just in case.
Yeah, it just seems to be whenever either something updates or whatnot, it seems to kill my mic for some reason. But if OBS is open, it doesn't change it, so.
Every second Tuesday of the month is Microsoft Update Day, by the way. So after that day, you're going to have that problem almost every single month.
Usually it's not every month, it's every couple of months that happens.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
as I was saying, out of character, considering we were still in the out of character zone, and I want to move it to in character. On the map, are there any notes about this grove?
Yes, it seems to be denoting a because yeah, none of you would actually know the tongue. It seems to be in a kind of elemental tongue, but the name seems to be the ancient tree. It also seems to have the title the Weeping One. So, do you guys wish to go to the grove, or?
Sure. I mean, it's a tree.
Yeah.
It's a tree inside of my court. I don't see why I couldn't go there.
Okay.
Might as well kind of learn all of the areas we can.
Yep. And kind of set up a base if you can. Yeah. Well, as you go along the paths and get to this area, you notice that the plants seem to shift. Like there's normal plants, and then there's these much more vibrant, more lively plants around. And it seems darker than the moonlight there. Almost like the moonlight's not fully penetrating this area. And as you get a little deeper into the grove, you find the plants seem to almost look less plant-like. The stems and everything and the paths along the leaves seem to be almost red and pulsing. Some of the trees seem almost less tough, almost like a scaly or strange kind of rough hide on an animal instead of bark. And as you go along, you see one of the trees slowly seem to shift into the path a little, twisting and turning a little. One leg seeming to be pulling out of the ground and pressing onto it with the roots, and its hands seeming to come across the path. The face of it looks almost like an elderly man, while the bumps and knots of the tree itself seem to almost pulse, as if they have a beating heart all throughout them. Some reddish sap seems to be dripping down his eyes and along his nose, as the leaves along his shoulders and head seem almost like a dark blood-like color.
Will monster knowledge work on this one?
Yes, but you're going to be using knowledge of the planes specifically,
Okay.
which you don't really have, but
It's just
you'll
intelligence.
have advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminds Victor of the ship's captain.
bit, yeah.
Yeah. 6. I had a total of 11. Even with advantage, I rolled shit on that one.
Jeez. You want to use a
Yeah.
reroll?
Nah. I'll leave it as is.
You do not know what this is. The idea that it might be from an elemental plane kind of checks out, but the factor that it looks almost fleshy instead of like a tree is disturbing you enough that you cannot dig into your memory.
Yeah, something like, you should know what it is, but it's just not clicking.
It's not just clicking. It's for some reason just the like pulsing of it and everything. It's got you too distracted to think. Anyways, you're just like,
Treant? I can identify treant, and then the rest is just disturbing weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
Should we say hi or no?
I bid you greetings. He gives a bow.
Victor's still trying to figure it out.
Do you speak in the common tongue?
It sort of looks to the side as if looking to the ground a second, and then looking along the path, and then back up at you guys, seeming to be trying to think of something or how to communicate.
I'm gonna slip into Draconic. Do you speak Draconic, perchance?
When you start speaking in Draconic, he tilts his head as if curious but not understanding.
Gotcha. I will stop speaking and give him time to think.
He slowly seems to reach out with one of his hands and starts pointing it at your head, and there seems to be a strange leech-like thing coming from his finger.
It doesn't seem threatening, I'd assume. It's just weird.
Guys, I think we've seen kin to this being before.
Have we? It's like a treant.
Can Victor roll anything to make a connection to that captain?
You could try nature or the planes.
It'd have to be nature.
Yeah. Nature's gonna give you different information than the planes.
Nature. I have nature. Nature.
Let's see.
Yeah, 13.
15. 16.
I don't want this to go on too long, so let them do their like nature checks and whatnot. But Asnoth is planning on approaching.
Okay.
It does seem like a treant, but it's definitely not any that have been recorded on the material plane. This thing is not something that even came close to living on the material plane in concept. So it's from either a deeper part of one of the elemental planes or something, or it's something that developed here.
Okay.
And Azeroth is going to approach. So you're going to approach the creature's hand as a leech is slowly coming out of it.
It doesn't seem threatening, so yeah. I'm gonna take my chances on that. Sorry, I walked away from the computer, and I will gently approach. My hands kind of out to the sides to try to show that I'm not of any harm.
Okay. It's gonna grab your head.
Yeah, I had a feeling it might do something weird like that, so and I'm allowing it for now.
Okay. I need you to make an
what's my
endurance saving
interest?
throw.
Ew. What if I don't want to? I don't feel like it. I'm using a reroll.
Have you been baned again?
There we go, much better.
No, my mouse hasn't been around.
Shush! Shush! Both of you.
So what did you get?
18 total. I used a reroll.
You feel the leech move, and then an agonizing pain in your ear for a second as it crawls into your ear.
Yeah, I had a feeling there's like a possible comprehend languages spell going on here, but I don't like this at all.
Oh yes, comprehend language. Yes, yes.
Talk about an earworm.
Yeah.
So after a
Okay.
moment from the pain, you start to hear a really old and almost wisp of a voice. You've come to my grove, but yet you aren't one of them. What brings you?
I come. Let's see. I come looking to possibly remove Julian from his throne. And he looks up towards the sky and dismiss the moon fog, if you will.
He slowly removes his hand from you and points to the sky. His hand outstretched, all of his fingers seeming to be pointing up. Yes, I miss the sun. You wish
Even
to
the
take
court
out...
of the moon occasionally needs to have some sunlight.
He slowly looks back to you. You wish to take out the false king.
I do.
And my grove can be your sanctuary.
Thank you.
You see him begin slowly walking along the path. And as you guys follow him, it seems more and more like this definitely is not of this plane. Like this grove itself fell from somewhere else or got ripped from somewhere else. And as you get to the center, the crimson water that's there and the strange kind of pitcher plants in the center on a small little island that seem almost fleshy, that small animals seem to fall into here and there as if trying to get the nectar from inside. The trees here seeming almost alive, and every once in a while you can see several like strange fruit-like things that will look towards you from the trees and then look away, almost as if they have faces. And the large guardian looks over you all and speaks to Asimov. You are more than welcome to rest in my grove. But do not harm the nature that is here.
Victor's looking side to side as they walk, like everything just kind of has him in a little bit of awe.
Should probably make a roll for our little druid friend too. See if he can
Fascinating.
places.
This place is fascinating.
The druid seems to kind of be looking at all over and trying to take note of it all before he speaks to you two. I actually think I've seen something on this.
Oh,
It's part of the forbidden scrolls that I've dabbled in reading. I think this is considered a blood grove. It's all from a plane of... they kind of considered it a plane of flesh, where the earth itself was like a living organism. The water is like its blood and everything, and it's weird, almost eldritch-like. The fact that it's trying to grow things here in the soil is fascinating.
That is very, very interesting. I'd not heard of a plane like this. At least I don't think I have.
It's not a plane that a lot of people would know about. Only more ancient beings tend to have knowledge of it, and I only got to read about it because it's a plane Paulo knew about.
Do you
Is this
think it?
Paulo? Go ahead, Stella.
You think it might be invasive, or
Probably is. I just don't know how it invaded here. If it was brought here or what.
Can you, he looks over towards the ant and goes, can you tell us more of yourself and your fellow ants, trees, or people? However you wish to refer to anyone, I'm unaware. Sproutlings?
The ant kind of just looks around a little bit and then looks back to Aznavoth and is like, I don't know of others. These creatures and plants have been here as long as I've been a sproutling. Before I started to grow.
Then feel free to tell us about yourself if you would. I can relay the information to my my friends.
I don't know much about my people. I am one of a kind. Think?
Yeah, we've encountered other, well, what we would call treants on our side of the plains here.
That's
They're
fine.
considerably different than you, however.
Does he know any dart vipers?
Nope.
I asked that question if he knows any dart vipers.
I do not know any dart vipers. What are these creatures? I only know my grove and the fae around it.
They're snake-like beings. I have a question. What is your role or desires for the Moon Court?
I have no desires for the Moon Court, only to protect my grove.
The sun would probably do you well, I assume.
Yes.
So I'm doing what you need of me by removing a threat and a problem.
Yes, it means my grove won't overexpand. It's been growing year by year now. And it means more work for me.
So the moon actually stunts the growth versus the sun stunts the growth versus the moon?
The plants around here require the sun and the moon. The sun plants are dying, so my plants begin trying to weed through.
Understood. Yeah. We'll try to fix that as quickly as we can. Aside from your hosting, are you willing to provide any further help, or it's just having a place to sleep all you are desiring to provide? I'm not trying to ask for more. I'm just curious if you'd be willing to help.
What kind of help are you looking for?
I'm unsure of how effective we are going to be against Julian ourselves, so I'm looking for any type of allyship that I can get, and any type of friends are something that I could be beneficial.
I can see if my friends can lend a hand. There are small clusters of mushrooms throughout this woods. I can see about talking to them, but it will take me time.
Once we're done with our rest, we will move on towards the court and see if we can, help the issue.
I would appreciate that.
We are trying to handle things politically and calmly first. I prefer less combat.
A most wise and natural course. Minimize the amount of resistance between opposing forces.
Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I have been sent by Florence specifically.
Florence, one of the brothers.
Yes.
The true king.
He nods his head.
You see him kind of look at the ground, then look off to the distance a second. I must continue patrolling my land. You may rest here where it is safest.
We will not cause any harm, and if we do cause any harm, it'll be upon me and my court. He nods his head towards him. Meaning to say he's going to take care of it if it's a problem.
He just nods and begins slowly lumbering off.
I don't suggest touching anything and only eat what you brought in.
Yep.
Not gonna argue that.
The meaty-looking plant tastes like meat!
I'm going to assume the meaty-looking plant is poisonous.
Or can eat back.
Yeah.
I prefer to get my meat from something that was actually an animal at one point.
Well, I mean,
My-
if it
I-
eats animals and it makes meat, then technically it was once an animal.
I like my cow to have. I like my cow to have once come from to at least have come from a cow.
Where?
That's usually where cows come from.
Steak. The steaks.
I could never be vegetarian or a vegan. Just seems like one mistake.
Everybody, roll 1d10 psychic damage.
Okay, that's pretty high. I feel like dad jokes or, parental jokes are only like 1d4.
Hey, you guys already missed one.
I didn't.
He started lumbering off. Come on.
Fair.
Like, none of you said anything about it.
I'm sorry, my man, you were barking up the wrong tree.
I
Yeah.
was dealing with the damage it caused. It's just a survivor bias of horrible dad jokes.
Guess I should just leave this alone, because nobody was going to root that one on.
Really got me splitting over here, my man.
Speaking of, I think we're all tired, and we should probably sit here and, my brain, yeah, we're all bushed. I shouldn't have said tired. I'm so tired that my brain decided
Let's
to
just
drop the
leave
joke.
it alone, man. Leave it alone.
If you keep this up, we might form a splinter group against you.
Yeah, you guys will have to branch off, though.
It's time to head to the slumber.
The slumber yard.
We saw the seed of that joke.
It was pretty sappy. I hope by the end of this I can say I slept like a log.
Picture this. Okay.
If I keep this up, I think Stella will make me into a widowmaker.
So we're looking for a spot to kind of bed down for the night.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can pile up this.
Let's see here. Okay.
bed of mulch, if you will.
Please stop.
Okay. We are going to raid some people that seem to be in the middle of a campaign themselves. So you guys have a good night and be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Don't get in any trouble. And if you do, give us a call. Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Oof.